Welcome everybody to this special event. I'm really happy that all of you are here today and listen to our cool announcements. This will be about the next big step for Nextcloud. This will be about the launch of Nextcloud Hub 22. This is already the second major product launch this year and the fourth in the last 12 months. I'm really happy and proud how awesome and productive the Nextcloud community was and is, obviously. Of course, we still live in unusual times, so the COVID-19 pandemic is still not solved and affecting all our lives, unfortunately. But we can already see that communication, collaboration is changing forever after the pandemic. And this is in our private lives, in our companies, universities and schools, affecting all our lives, the whole world, basically. What we can see already is digitalization is the future. There will be less paper and more remote work. We will communicate and collaborate from home and remote places across time zones with a lot more flexibility and autonomy and less classic 9-to-5 office work as we did before. So what will people and schools and companies do? How will the world look like after the pandemic is over? I think solutions like Google Workspace, Office 365, for Microsoft, Dropbox and Slack become more and more popular. But this means, of course, that all our data, all our communication, all our digital lives will be in the hand of some huge corporations without control, without privacy, and with this huge vendor login. So this has big consequences, and I think we really have to think about it if you really want to live in a world like that, or if you want something different. So does the huge cloud providers actually respect our privacy and security of the users? Do they have different interest? Maybe. I think so, because they're analyzing our data and selling it for advertising. I mean, some of them have advertising as their business model, obviously. And do we really want that? Do we really think this is a good vision for the future? Where is the data actually stored? And which laws apply, right? This is like something really complicated and very important, because if you live in one country and the data is stored somewhere else, this has really big legal implications for all of us. Is there a vendor login? Meaning, is there a way to ever export our data again and move somewhere else? So is it even possible to move away from these big cloud providers to something else? I think this is super important questions that all of us have to think about. And then obviously there's the legal aspect. Are these solutions GDPR compliant? Because according to the European Code of Justice, US services are not GDPR compliant, right? I mean, this was a big ruling last summer, and it's obviously still not solved. So there's a huge legal risk of using these big cloud services. But this is exactly what we want to solve with Nextcloud. So Nextcloud is the only solution that provides you with all these collaboration, communication features that we need, like in our world as it is today, and it will be in the future after the pandemic. But we provide the security, we make everything GDPR compliant, there is no vendor login, we don't sell any data to advertisers, obviously. So in our opinion, Nextcloud is actually the solution for this post-pandemic world, but in a good way, respecting privacy and security of the users. Before we dive into Nextcloud Hub 22, the new release, the big thing we're going to show you today, I want to talk a little bit about something else. Because as you might know, this project is over a decade old now, so over 11 years actually, it's a long time. But we have another interesting anniversary today, because last month Nextcloud actually had its 5th birthday. So Nextcloud, the project, and Nextcloud GmbH, the company, is like officially over 5 years old now. That's quite amazing. So I think it's a good opportunity to look back and look at some important milestones, what happened the last years. So let me start 5 years ago with a Nextcloud conference at the TU Berlin with keynote speakers Jane Silver, CEO of Canonical, and Karen Sandler, Executive Director of the Free Software Conservancy. This was really cool. And by the way, all of those is still on YouTube, so I invite all of you to watch it again. Over 100 participants witnessed the announcement of the Nextcloud box. This was a very cool collaboration between Canonical, Western Digital and us. So a really cool product. In May of 2017, we introduced Global Scale as part of Nextcloud 12. Now, 4 years later, Global Scale is used by many of our customers to distribute data between data centers, enabling scaling to tens of millions of users. I don't know how many of you actually know it. I encourage everybody to look up the information around it. It's actually very cool. You can have a Nextcloud instance distributed over different continents with many, many millions of users. It's actually quite easy to set up. So a very cool thing. 2018 kicked off with a bang as we announced Nextcloud Talk to the world. Audio and video chat have become central to the daily work of millions of users today. I mean, especially today with our pandemic, but it's pretty clear that collaboration, chat, video conferencing, file sync and share all belongs together, and we fully embraced it in 2018 with the launch of Nextcloud Talk. In April then, we are proud to announce that the German federal government had chosen Nextcloud as the official secure file sharing collaboration platform. This was really cool to see that what we do is officially recognized and embraced and used by a big government. In October of the year, we started our initiative to push diversity and inclusion in open source. This is called Nextcloud Include. We offer there mentorships, internships, travel funding. So if you're from an underrepresented group, or you're interested in mentorship or in an internship or something with Nextcloud, encourage everybody to go to nextcloud.com/include to learn more about that, because there's something that is really, really important for the Nextcloud community. In 2019, machine learning came to Nextcloud, improving the security and usability. We also added access control list permissions, including our collaborative text editor, Nextcloud Talk. In 2019, we also saw the French government, as well as hundreds of French universities and governments departments in Sweden and also the Netherlands to choose Nextcloud. So it's really cool that what we did, or we started with the German government, actually was then like an inspiration for lots of other organizations, governments all over the world, all over Europe, and they did the same. So this is a big trend. Also like this universities in France and many other places, this is really a great product, great solution for their needs. 2020, with Hub, Nextcloud became a complete collaboration platform with video chat, groupware, and document editing all integrated. So we announced this in a collaboration with Ionos, one of the global top 5 hosting providers, and make big strides with Nextcloud Mail, Forms, and end-to-end encryption with our desktop client. So this was a big milestone for us, Nextcloud Hub 20 release, where we really lifted our work to a complete new level. At the Nextcloud conference in October of the year, we announced technology integrations with large numbers of products from GitLab, Hancom, Samad, Moodle, and many, many others. Even integration into proprietary services like Microsoft, Google, Slack, Dropbox, and GitHub, Jira, and many more. And just before the year ended, we introduced another very cool initiative, which is the way to migrate your data from Dropbox, Microsoft 365 and Google directly with a few clicks into Nextcloud. So a very nice way for every user to extract their data from these services and move to Nextcloud. So super fast and simple to use. Yeah, now we reached, of course, 2021. And as I mentioned earlier, at the beginning of the year, we had our first release already of the year, Nextcloud Hub 21, where we announced a collaboration with the German Telekom, several other partnerships, massive performance improvements, and a whiteboard in text. So really a lot happened in the last 5 years, as you can see. But now let's really look into the future and talk about the next big step, which is Nextcloud Hub 22. So the world is changing, and some changes are even accelerated because of COVID-19. So digitalization is the future. So the world will be digital. There will be less paper, everything will be files, everything will be remote, computer, over the internet. The office and the workspace are changing. We will work and communicate via distributed teams. We will even work between different time zones. So this is something that started now with COVID-19, and it will become the new normal. And to address that, we're actually introducing Nextcloud Hub 22, which is a release specifically to be tailored for exactly these challenges of the future. We'll focus today on the great improvements in file management, collaboration, groupware, project management and other areas. Big improvement in Nextcloud Talk will be announced later this month separately. So to tell you all about Nextcloud Hub 22, I will hand over to Jos now.
So we designed Nextcloud 22 to address the challenges of the modern workplace. The world is changing and these changes must reflect in organizations. So you can have social media fallout that you need to deal with, or a sudden security challenge, and often ad hoc teams are needed to address a specific problem that happens. Now, to support this reality of modern, flexible and ever-changing organizations, we today introduce Nextcloud Circles. Now, circles are custom groups. They are defined by users, so there's no need for a system administrator to be involved. A user can create such a circle, give it a name, and then choose if the circle is visible to other users, if other users can join, and whether approval for that is needed. You can even allow members to invite other people for the circle. Now, circles really simplifies managing teams. So let's talk about how teams work together. We wanted to address 3 different collaboration scenarios that occur in modern organizations. Very important today is the role of chat in coordination. We also wanted to optimize the approval workflow. That is very common in organizations. And last but not least, we wanted to make document signing easy. So you probably recognize the situation. In a chat conversation, a task is identified. Now, the conversation probably takes place in Talk, the Nextcloud group chat and video conferencing application. And your team probably takes their to-do items in Deck, our project management tool. In Nextcloud 22, you can directly turn a chat item about a task into a to-do in Deck. You simply select the message and choose to create a card in Deck. You choose the board and the stack for the new task and you give it a title. Now you can track the task, assign it, attach documents, put deadlines in and more. You can find the task in the calendar in its due date or simply share the task back into a chat room. The second flow we wanted to optimize is another very common activity in organizations, is to get a document approved. This can be for a holiday request or it can be because you are creating a quote that needs to be reviewed before it is sent to a customer. So with Nextcloud 22, we make this easy with approval flows. An administration can define a new approval flow in the settings. Users can then request on a document for approval. They get a dialog where they can choose what to ask approval for, let's say this holiday or something else. And then the managers will get the document shared with them. They can see the request, approve and deny after they've reviewed the document. This makes internal approvals easy, but sometimes you need to get something officially signed. And this goes one step further. It needs a recognized process for handling signatures. So this is the third workflow we optimized. First, we integrated the well-known DocuSign. Second, the European EID Easy and the fully open source and on-premises LibreSign. Now, this makes getting a formal sign-off super easy. This is how it works. On a PDF, in the 3-dot menu, you choose to sign a PDF. You select who has to sign. It can, for example, be that you just enter the email of somebody, or you pick a user and you hit the send button. The recipient will get a mail with instructions on how to sign the document. That's it. We optimized Nextcloud 22 for the post-COVID world. With circles, we introduced user-defined groups that require no administrator involvement and can just be used as any other group. We also integrated chat with task management and added an easy approval workflow. Last but not least, we made it possible to request PDF signing directly from within Nextcloud. Let us walk through the features from Nextcloud Hub 22 we just talked about, so you can see them in action. We begin with custom groups, circles. I will show how easy it is to create a circle for your team and then share with them. We start in the Contacts app. On the left you have contacts, contact groups, and the custom groups, circles. A circle can be used just like a Nextcloud group. Let's create a new circle for a customer project, Verilium, to coordinate the work. We ourselves, my user here is Christine, are added automatically as owner. You can assign various roles to other users too, like manager, or you can make somebody else owner. Now let's add some other members. You can search for users or pick them from the list. And you can also add other groups and even other circles. Now you can give the group a description. This group is to make a customer happy. Now you can configure the circle. You can let anyone see the circle, request membership. Other options cover invitation handling and moderation. Now let's see what we can do with a circle. We can share a folder. Let's share our Verilium work folder. It makes sense to make this available to everyone in the circle. It is in the list, and you can see it is there, and now it is shared. You might have seen I already also created a Verilium chat. I can now go and give the circle access to this. Let me now show you how to manage this Verilium project. I'll create a new board and deck to put the tasks on. First, let's make a to-do stack and then put the first task in it. We have to get our customer onboarded. Now let's share this project with the team. We can do this from the board details. Let's also give the team edit rights so they can assign tasks and add new tasks. This onboarding should be done by the entire team, so let's assign this first card not to an individual but to the entire circle. You see the members of the circle show up here, so you can quickly select and assign them. So that is how easy you can handle groups in Nextcloud Hub 22. Now let's go over the second thing I did show you, the integration of project management in chat. We will start with a chat message and turn it into a task in deck. Let's take this message to Carl and click the three-dot menu. Now we choose to create a card, and then we can pick the project and the stack. You can give a custom summary and description, then just create the card. Let's see the task we just created. You can now assign it to somebody, add attachments and set a due date. And once done, you can share it back into a chat room so the rest of the team knows about it. The second process we optimized in Nextcloud Hub 22 was the flow of getting a document reviewed and approved. So let me show you that next. We will start at the beginning. An administrator can define the flow in the settings. Our goal is to set up an approval process for travel plans of the team. We first create a new approval flow and we name it. We then create 3 tags the system will use to track the status of the documents. You could use a single approval tag for multiple flows to keep things simple. Or, as I do here, create separate tags if you want to execute additional actions on those documents. You could, for example, convert the file into a PDF when it is approved, or post a message in the chat room when there is a request. You can easily configure such things in Nextcloud Flow. Now we choose who can approve documents in this flow. Let's just pick administrators. In a company, you might of course choose a group of managers, for example. You can also assign one or more individuals the ability to approve documents. Now we have set up the flow. Let's see what it looks like from a user's perspective. We create a travel request using the travel request template and then we fill in the document. Next, we open the sidebar and click the Request Approval button. Now, just use the approval flow we just created and request the approval. That is all. Anyone in the administrator group can now see this document as it was automatically shared with them. They also get a notification. So I can go in, review the document and approve. Or deny, of course. I could also comment on the file, requesting additional changes before I approve. So you see that you can now integrate your organizational processes very nicely into Nextcloud. This will make it much easier to work together for teams in large organizations. The third and final process we optimized for Nextcloud Hub 22 was in a way similar to the second, getting a PDF signed. This can be used to request a signature on a work contract or an offer you send to a customer. The crypto signatures generated by the 3 solutions we integrated act as a guarantee the documents were signed as is and have not been tampered with. Many jurisdictions will accept these as formal, legally enforceable digital signatures. DocuSign is well known, so let me show you that first. We will assume our customer Verillium has to sign off on our requirements document. You simply click the three-dot menu and request a signature. Type the email address of the person who has to sign. There can be multiple people, and if an internal counter signature is needed, you can also use a Nextcloud username. Then, request a signature. The recipients will all receive an email, asking them to sign. Let me show what that looks like with the second platform we integrated, EID Easy. Just click the button in the email to get started. With EID Easy, you can choose among a variety of internationally recognized signatures. You sign and get your own copy. A unique feature EID offers is the ability to not actually upload the document to the server, but merely a hash that describes the document. This way, you can sign documents without their actual contents leaking to a third-party server. There are many other improvements in Nextcloud. Some of them include, for example, notifications in the app navigation, support for multiple email addresses per user, and easy zipping of files and folders from within Nextcloud files. Let's now go to Greta from our GroupWare team.
Hello everyone, I am Greta, part of the GroupWare team working mostly on the front-end side. Today I'm going to talk about some of our apps we've been working on since the last release and talk a bit in details about a couple of features. I would like to start with the Nextcloud Calendar, a short introduction for you who haven't used Nextcloud Calendar yet, but also as a reminder for you who have. Nextcloud Calendar can be synchronized to all of your devices, sharing with others your events, schedule work, or your online meetings. You can create and share multiple calendars and integrate external ones with the help of WebCal. You can book resources through a busy view, plan a talk meeting if you need one. Overall, it's a tool to coordinate remote work across different time zones. Our new feature in Calendar, it's a trash bin. After you delete a calendar or an event, it goes directly to the trash bin. Now you have the possibility to restore a deleted calendar or an event within a month from the time you moved it to the trash bin, or delete it permanently right away if you decide to do so. The next thing, it's fully integrated mail client in Nextcloud. The new version, it has many great improvements. Actually, we improved our threading integration. For a mail thread, we show only the latest message of a thread. Delete, move a thread will affect all messages in that thread. See filtering, it's another one, and from now you can write your own script to filter your messages. Mail tagging, it's our biggest feature for a mail app, and because of this feature, your tags can be read from IMAP and store them into your local databases. And that means that tagging will be displayed on your Nextcloud mail even though you assign that tag from another mail client. Users can add default tags as well as customized tags from the tagging management model that can be found in your action menu. And on the same model, you can remove those tags if you don't need them anymore. The next thing I'll be talking about is for those who like to keep things organized. Deck, it's an organization tool that can be used for personal planning or project organizational planning for teams integrated with Nextcloud. Apart from creating cards and assigning a tag or a person to it, we have improved our searching feature. Finding deck cards, now it's easier. Now you have the possibility of sharing a card in a talk room, and vice versa, you can create a card directly from a talk chat and save it to your deck. And if you want to attach a file to a card you created, perhaps from chat, you only have to type the title in the shared dialog in the file. There are many other apps part of the Nextcloud that helps your team and you to get things done quicker and easier. And for that, I'm going to pass the word to my colleague Jan, who is going to show you more about other apps and knowledge management.
The last big improvement for working after COVID is knowledge management. With remote teams and a paperless office, it's important that everyone has the same information. For this, we would like to present to you the new app called Nextcloud Collectives. Collectives gives you one space to organize everything. Whether you want to write a handbook for your organization, document something for yourself, or have a wiki among friends, Collectives works. Use pages and subpages to structure the knowledge and link across documents for quick reference. Collectives uses the Nextcloud text editor, so it supports collaborative editing and author colors by default. And access is managed with circles, which is now nicely integrated into contacts, as you heard. If you forgot where something was, you can simply search for it, since Collectives supports full text search. And lastly, all the data is fully portable because it is saved in files. This means you can access and edit your pages from any device using the Nextcloud mobile apps and desktop client. Now I'd like to show you how it looks like in action. When you create a new collective, it opens to a helpful page which describes what you can do. This is the front page of your collective, and you can edit it like the other pages. Start by adding collaborators via circles inside the Contacts app. Every collective automatically creates a circle, so you can simply add people there. Now everyone can contribute content. You can work on pages at the same time, of course, since it uses Nextcloud text. Different authors can be highlighted using the Author Colors feature. You can link other pages for cross-reference. Simply mark the text you want to link and pick Link File. This is really helpful for referring to important documents across your collective. And if you want to jump back to a previous version, the version history is available in the right sidebar, just like you know from files. You can find the full set of pages you created in the Collectives folder in Files. This way, it is available on all your devices via the mobile apps or desktop client. Pages can also easily be shared this way with people outside of your organization. So this is the new Collectives app, and we hope you enjoy using it. Thank you.
Next, we'd like to show you real-world examples of Nextcloud in use in schools, government and business.
Hello, I'm Marc.
Hello, I'm Johan. We work for SIB, a French public company. SIB is working for healthcare structures, but also for teachers and students in Brittany. And we currently deploy Nextcloud and Collabora for 33,000 students in Ille-et-Vilaine department.
First, deploying whole data storage solutions for schools is pretty bad idea because of the architecture resilience, the security extra and availability. So we have chosen Nextcloud. With Nextcloud, we have centralized infrastructure available in schools and over internet. With centralizations, it's better for automatizations, managements, and security. Good secure infrastructure is cool, but students and teachers want good solutions to manage their data, their files, directory, etc. Nextcloud offers a large possibility to carve our own solutions. So we use specific add-ons to give a good solutions for teachers and students. These two add-ons is group folders and flow. With group folders, we have created specific preview. This group folders is available by schools. We have one specific group folders by school. In this specific group folders, we have a specific preview by level, class, etc. With Flow, we have created a specific folders to students' homework. In this folder, students have only the possibility to upload their homework, and with this, teachers can get the files and correct it. and share the corrections to the students.
Currently, we are using Nextcloud, but also Collabora. Collabora is used for collaboration between students and teachers on all sorts of documents. We also give the possibility to use their own device. They can bring their own device and work from home or from the schools. Each time we deploy a new school, we have automate a lot of things. We automate integration of group folders, as Mark said, and thanks to the API, which help us a lot for doing this work.
Getting started with Nextcloud is pretty easy. We give some informations for teachers about Nextcloud utilizations, how to create, share, or how to use the specific review in Go folders. Teacher and student are very happy to use Nextcloud, and usage possibility with these solutions work continuously. To finish, using Nextcloud is cool, make possibility to give educations about personal data, and it's a very cool idea.
Thanks, Nextcloud.
Thanks.
Hi, this is Alex, Nextcloud's accountant. Nextcloud is used by a wide range of businesses to facilitate team collaboration and information sharing. For most businesses, it is important to be sure that customer and partner data is handled in a compliant way, as the GDPR does apply to a lot of different things you handle in the company. Think of HR data, but also mails to partners. In Nextcloud GmbH, our back office works internally and with customers and partners using Nextcloud. And in the next few minutes, I want to walk you through some of the ways we use our software ourselves. I tend to work across 3 different devices, 1 Windows, 2 macOS, in 2 locations. So I use a mix of Apple Mail with a bit of Outlook, Nextcloud Mail and mobile client for email. With 3 devices and 2 operation systems, the desktop client is of course very important to me. My usual workflow includes generating invoices in our accounting software Windows only, but I do most other work from my MacBook. And I have a desktop Mac in the office where I typically don't bring my laptop. So not having to worry about having the last version of my files is very important. However, most of my communication with my colleagues runs through Nextcloud Talk. It is just easy to coordinate that way. We even have set up a few flows where a chat message is posted in a room when one of our partners uploads a file into a folder they have been given a link to. As some invoices have to be approved, the approval workflow in Nextcloud 22 will also be very helpful. If I need one of my colleagues, like Patrick or Vanessa, to review a document, I usually share it to a chat with them so we can edit it together directly from there. Most of our documents are not that special, but Collabora Online also handles more complicated documents that we sometimes get from our partners or customers. During calls, we tend to take notes with text. That gives you a real no-nonsense interface, and the author colors make it easier to track who's writing what and where. Let me also mention the template in Nextcloud, which makes it easy to get started with an invoice or offer. We try to keep a clean folder structure, so we're using the workspace above a folder to explain what does and doesn't belong there. Of course, the folders I need to work on the most I have favorites. So those are just 1 click away on the sidebar. And if a colleague comments on a file, you get a notification, so that helps finding the right file as well. Still, I sometimes find myself using the search to find documents I need. The super useful thing is that also finds chat messages, emails, and even tasks.
Hi everyone, I'm Steve Jordi from the city of Geneva in Switzerland. We are a government agency with offices and buildings scattered all across the city that you see behind me. The IT serves 52 departments that can be seen as 52 different enterprises, 52 different fields ranging from public health to historic heritage maintenance, official legal document releases, museums, city lighting, social services, garbage collection. I mean, you name it, we have it. Those departments are often brought to share documents. It's usually done via the company's Microsoft file system with, shared network drives. But we needed a way to access those documents when visiting another department while traveling on the road, in the field, or while remote working. We wanted digital sovereignty and be the ones in control of all the security issues, as well as the backup and restore operations. We also wanted to avoid investing time and money in a solution that would change the license rules over time and lock us in with crazy fees. It happened to us before with another solution. Then no way, we don't want that anymore. So knowing that the source code is available was a key factor in picking Nextcloud. No matter what happens, we are sure that we can use the solution we have implemented, even in the future. Also, with today's needs, being able to access the documents on smartphones and tablets was not even an option, it was mandatory. We have been asked for that for a long time. Now, with plenty of museums, real estate management, we also need to share documents with third-party actors like designers, architects, other museums, photographers who don't have access to the internal network. So Nextcloud met the perfect suitability to task for that. It has rights management with passwords, expiration dates, and for tenders, the ability to upload documents without seeing other submissions. That's a legal requirement on our side. Museums were also very excited about being able to share calendars when planning events over months with partners. It was totally new to them, no more phone calls and emails. About a couple of hundreds people used Nextcloud on a regular basis at the city of Geneva. Now that seems pretty low, but I think it's because internal communication was not strong enough at the time when we released the solution. Then COVID struck and confinement struck, so people didn't have access to the Microsoft file system network anymore. But with remote work, we still needed to access and share essential documents and run tenders. The city services didn't shut down at all at the time. So we faced three challenges for remote working and to make sure that we would provide an efficient public service and we could continue to operate normally. We focused on deploying VPN access, webmail for communication, and a document management system. So for VPN, we had to give access to 4,500 users, and that was not fast enough. We didn't have the license. It would have taken weeks. In the meantime, users would not have access to the enterprise files. For communication, we were able to focus and bring and promote a webmail access solution within a couple of days, so that was fine. But finally, we needed to access to the files and to the documents for day-to-day city management operations. So we shifted to our file sharing solution we had at the time, which was Nextcloud. We actually jumped from about 180 users to 2,300 almost overnight. Well, actually in 3 days, which is very short. Nextcloud became one of the cornerstones of the city of Geneva that allowed all of us to continue to work in normal conditions, besides having kids screaming in your room and cats jumping on your laptop during the confinement. I'm sure you had that. Also, after several security audits from an independent company that revealed almost cosmetic low-impact concerns that were immediately patched by Nextcloud. We've been told that the single point of failure regarding security would more likely be on the human side than the solution itself. So the auditor even repeatedly told us that he rarely has seen such a high-quality level of security in a product just right out of the box. So by implementing Nextcloud as a self-hosted tool, we felt very confident that our data was secure. It was a key point for us. Now, the fun fact is that the only drawback we actually faced when jumping to 2,300 users was performance issues. I mean, with 8 CPUs, the solution was crawling, and all CPUs were at 100%, and it became barely unusable. But it was due to the lack of cache implementation that I totally forgot to configure following Nextcloud's own recommendations. So I spent a day tweaking it, and voila, the overall CPU usage dropped within a few seconds from 800% down to about 27%. And Nextcloud has been perfectly stable since then. In June 2020, people returned to work and after a few months were confined again here in Switzerland. But I have noticed that now Nextcloud is deeply rooted in our enterprise culture, and most users continue to use it with a great pleasure, I would say. To say the truth, being the guy in charge of Nextcloud at the city of Geneva, I never got a single complaint about it and what it offers as solutions. Another point worth mentioning, I think, is that users also feel very safe knowing that their documents are hosted by ourselves here in Geneva and not somewhere abroad or in the cloud. Now, you're going to have a hunch that I can only highly recommend Nextcloud. I would say especially in a government agency environment, because as I said earlier, you have data sovereignty, the freedom to self-host the solution in your own data center, and you have access to the source code, so the product won't disappear. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I hope that this information was useful. Stay safe in life and online. Bye.
Thanks a lot. I'm really happy about these improvements, all the cool new features that we introduced, Nextcloud Hub 22, but it's also very nice to see how real people use these improvements in their day-to-day work, like in universities and companies and schools, public government and so on. So that's actually really cool, and to see how this actually works in day-to-day lives. So of course there's a lot more that is part of this release that we can't cover in this video. So I encourage everybody to go to our website, our blog posts, our announcements to read about the details, and also of course test the software to see it yourself. Of course everything we do is 100% open source and 100% free software. This is in the core and the DNA of Nextcloud. This is really important for us because it gives ultimate freedom to all our users to make sure that the software can be used for everything, to protect your data, your privacy, to make sure that you can build innovation on top of it, to make sure there are no backdoors in the software, to really give you the ultimate security and privacy. So the question is, of course, when will all of this available? So Nextcloud Hub 22, when can you actually use it? As you might know, we at Nextcloud are no big fans of pre-announcements. We basically never do pre-announcements. Because of that, I'm also very happy to say that everything we showed you today is also available today. So you can directly go to our website, nextcloud.com, and download it and use it just today, just now. And of course, stay tuned to our big Nextcloud talk announcements later this month. As I mentioned, we have a lot of improvements there too, but more about this in a few weeks. Thanks a lot for joining today. Thanks a lot for coming to listening to all the great improvements we do. Have a great day, stay healthy, and talk to you again soon.